If you're thinking about moving to Castro Valley, you've already watched the videos with the prices and the school ratings and the maps. And those are useful. By the way, those are all my videos, but that is not what this video is about. After 23 years of not just selling houses here, but actually living here, raising a family, I can tell you the stuff that matters most about this town is the stuff nobody puts in the listing. The things I'd only tell you if you were a friend sitting across the table from me. Some of it will make you want to move here tomorrow, and some of it, honestly, might be the reason you shouldn't. So let me give you the real unfiltered version of what it's actually like to live here. The good, the annoying, starting with the thing that surprises people the most. The first thing, and this is going to sound small until you live it. It's the peace. I'm in a pocket of Castro Valley that's all single family homes. No apartment complex looming over the block, no through traffic cutting past the house. It's quiet, it's clean, and I actually know my neighbors. In the Bay Area in 2026, that combination is rare and people don't even realize it. Or the nice street is one block from the not so nice one. Castro Valley has these established, settled residential pockets where the vibe is just calm. That's not a line on a spec sheet, but it's the thing I notice every single morning. The second thing is the access to open space. And I mean access that's almost absurd. There are neighborhoods here where you walk out your front door and you're on the trail. Not a drive to the trailhead, your front door. Communities like Five Canyons and up around Palomares, they have these built-in trails right around the neighborhood. Or in neighborhoods like Proctor, Rockhurst, Parsons Estates, and of course, the Lake Chabot neighborhood. For me, the way I found this whole town was I was mountain biking in Lake Chabot ages ago, and that connection to the outdoors never went away. I can get on my bike from my house, whether it's in a road bike or a mountain bike, and I can ride all the way to Oakland, Moraga, Walnut Creek without putting the bike on a car. If you're the kind of person for whom that matters, and I clearly am, there are a few places at this price point in the Bay Area that will give you that. And the third thing is that the town itself is finally becoming a real gathering place. The Castro Valley Marketplace down at the Boulevard has turned into the heart of the community. It's a food hall, a local butcher, a bakery, sushi, coffee, and they also do a First Friday with live music and vendors once a month. For years, Castro Valley didn't really have that central gathering place. Now it does. And you can cross to the other side and you're in the village with its own mix of businesses. It's walkable, it's local, and it feels like ours. You know, watching that come together over the last few years has been one of my favorite things about staying here. And here's the part most agents will never say out loud, because their job is to sell you the town. My job is to make sure you actually stay happy after you buy here. So let me tell you what genuinely is annoying about living here, because every place has a catch, and this one has a few. This is something I wish we were told when we were moving here. So if that's you, give us a call and let's talk about the 2 or 3 things you like and the 2 or 3 things you absolutely can stand. And we'll help narrow down your neighborhood selection. Okay, what are the cons? The first one, and there's no way around this, it is hilly. And I say that as somebody who loves to walk and hike. When the hills are your weekend, they're a gift. When they're your everyday walking to grab something or getting the kids somewhere, just moving around day in and day out, those hills can wear you down. And that ties into the bigger reality, which is that Castro Valley is car dependent. There's BART and there's a walkable downtown stretch, yes, but for a lot of daily life, if you're picturing strolling everywhere, adjust that picture. You're going to be in your car more than you think. Second one is the micro weather. Well, I call it the micro weather, and this one still gets me. I can walk out of my house in the morning and it's genuinely cold. I got a thicker layer on the outside, whether I'm riding or walking. But by the time I get down to the boulevard, I'm peeling off that layer because I'm burning up. And that's not me being dramatic. That's just a real thing here. The elevation changes are big enough that the temperature and the fog can shift block by block. It's charming when you know it. It's confusing when you don't, and it means you're never quite sure how to dress. And then the third one, something I honestly used to shrug off, and now I don't, Castro Valley is unincorporated. It's the largest unincorporated community in Alameda County, which means we don't have a mayor and we don't have a city council. What we have is the Municipal Advisory Council, or MAC, not me. They advise the County Board of Supervisors, but it doesn't actually govern. For years, that didn't bother me, but the longer I've lived here, the more I feel it. When something's wrong in your community, there's no single person, no mayor whose job it is to address these things. Your voice goes up to the county boards that's juggling a lot of other places. It's a real trade-off. And if you're the type who wants tight, responsive local government, you should know that going in. And again, this is exactly why I do what I do the way I do it. Because none of what I just told you shows up on Zillow. The piece of a specific street, the hill you'll be climbing every day, the fog line that stops 2 blocks from one house and not another. That's lived in knowledge, and it's the whole reason people reach out to me every week. Every situation is different. So if you're seriously looking at Castro Valley, here's my offer. Call, text, or email me. Tell me 2 or 3 things you love, 2 or 3 things you can't stand, and I'll tell you which pocket of this town to focus on and which ones to skip. That's genuinely what I do all day. And hey, grab a free copy of my East Bay relocation guide. It's in the description below. It walks you through the areas, the schools, the lifestyle, and it's a good place to start your research. Alright, so after 23 years of watching who moves in, who stays, and who quietly lists their house 2 years later, let me tell you the pattern. Because Castro Valley is not for everybody, and I'd rather you know which one you are before you buy, not after. The people who thrive here are families with young kids. This town is built for that. The schools, the parks, the trails, the safety of those quiet residential pockets, it all lines up for a family putting down roots. And here's the part that tells you everything. A lot of those families stay long after the kids are grown and gone. They don't downsize out of town. They don't chase the next thing. They stay for the location. They stay for the weather. They stay because the life they built here is genuinely good. When I see people age and place happily, that's the strongest signal a town is doing something right. Now, here's who leaves. The people who don't last are usually the ones who showed up expecting a brand new, perfectly manicured master plan community. That is not Castro Valley, and I won't pretend it is. The honest reality is there's a lot more old here than new. Established homes, mature trees, neighborhoods with decades of history, and the quirks that come with that. If your dream is crisp, new construction where everything matches and the HOA keeps every lawn identical, you're going to spend your time here a little frustrated, and you'll probably move. If you want character, roots, and a town that already has a soul, you'll love it. It really is that clean of a split. Let me give you a real example of how personal this gets. I had a client who moved here from Alameda, and Alameda is a wonderful place, but for them it had started to feel confined, boxed in. They wanted to feel like they had room to breathe, room to get out and move. And that's the thing about Castro Valley that a stats video will never capture. It's not the cheapest town, it's not the flashiest, but if you're somebody who feels claustrophobic without open space and a trail out your front door, this place opens up around you. For the right person, that feeling of room is worth more than any number on the listing. For the wrong person, it's just more hills and more driving. Same town, completely different experience, and it comes down entirely to who you are. So let me put it all together honestly. Castro Valley is not the perfect town. It's hilly, it's car dependent, the weather can't make up its mind block by block, and there's no mayor to call when you're frustrated or you have a, like I always say, a suggestion. I'm not selling you a fantasy, but what it gives you in return is hard to find anywhere else in the Bay at this price. Quiet, settled, single-family neighborhoods where you actually know the people next door. Open space and trails that in some pockets starts at literally your front door. A downtown that's finally grown into a real gathering place. And a location that keeps you connected to all of it. Oakland, San Francisco, Silicon Valley, the whole East Bay, without ever feeling like you live in the middle of it. If you want new and shiny and identical, this isn't your town, and I'd rather tell you that now. But if you want roots, character, room to breathe, and a place people move to and simply don't leave, then Castro Valley might be exactly what you've been looking for. After 23 years, I'm still here. That should tell you something. And hey, if this doesn't sound like your kind of place, check out my other videos comparing Castro Valley and Dublin, Castro Valley and Hayward, and San Leandro, and the rest of the East Bay cities. The pros and cons of all of it. Check it out on my channel, link in the description below. I'm Mac Rogers.